team at We Love Baking. Today I'm going to share with you how to make a coffee and walnut tray bake cake. Let's get baking. So to start with, we're going to make our cake. Obviously, I'm going to use a stand mixer to help me today. So into the bowl of my stand mixer, I am going to add my butter. This is unsalted butter. Now it's quite cool here today, so my butter is quite firm. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a mix before I add my sugar in, and that's just going to make it much easier to combine the ingredients when I do. So once your butter has softened, we want it to be more spreadable so that it mixes more easily with our sugar. So this is now good to go. I'm going to bring that out so you can see, so it's gone really soft and it's much more spreadable than it was before. That is perfect. So now that my butter is softened, I'm going to add in my next ingredient, which is sugar. Now today I'm using Tate and Lyle's soft brown sugar. I'm using soft brown sugar rather than caster sugar today because the brown sugar has molasses in it, which has a lovely caramelly flavour which goes so well with coffee and walnut. So this is just going to give a very subtle extra flavour to the cake, and it's absolutely beautiful. So that is already measured out. That's 300 grams of my sugar. I'm going to pop that in with my butter and we're going to mix again. So once your butter and sugar have mixed together and gone paler, as you can see here, that is absolutely perfect. I'm going to give you a better look in my bowl so you can see the paleness of the mixture. That is what we are looking for. Now to this, once I have scraped it down, really important so that you get all your ingredients really well combined together, I'm going to add to this as well my dry ingredients. So we have some plain flour, some baking powder and some bicarbonate of soda. So this is going to get mixed together again, and this mixture will end up looking a little bit like moist sand, like damp sand. So that took me about a minute or so, and you can see if I get this out without it making a mess everywhere, you can see the texture of this mixture is a bit sticky, a bit crumbly, and that is exactly what you want. Everything to be well combined all the way through, and that is good. So I'm going to leave that there for a moment. So that's my dry ingredients sorted. I'm now going to do my wet. I've got a big jug. You can use a bowl as well. That will work just fine too. And into that I'm going to pop in some yogurt. This is Greek yogurt. I prefer using that because it's a thicker, creamier, richer texture. It's much nicer in cakes. So my yogurt goes in, and then I'm going to crack in 3 eggs as well. And to that too, I'm also going to add in some coffee granules. This is instant coffee. So I'm just going to pop that in, and then everything is going to get mixed together. So once this mixture is all combined, we're going to add about half of it in with our wet ingredients and give that a mix. Now this is just a mix to get the ingredients combined and to start that process of making it all one mixture. So that took me about 30 seconds of mixing, and you can see that my mixture is starting to look a bit more cake-like. I'm just going to get a bit off the beaters so that we don't spill everywhere. And then I'm going to show you. There we go. So this mixture, as you can see, looks like very, very thick cake mixture. That is exactly what I want. I'm just going to scrape all the sides down to make sure all my dry ingredients get mixed in. And then we're going to pop it back together and put the rest of the wet ingredients in too. So once your mixture has completely combined, second time round, you can see it will go from being much thicker to being lovely and silky and glossy. Let me give you a closer look. So the second time round, once you've added the rest of your wet ingredients, you will see that your mixture will go much smoother and glossier and beautiful. How gorgeous does that look? So for my final mix before we pop this in the tin to bake, I'm going to give the whole bowl one last scrape down. Because of the method of mixing the dry ingredients first and then the wet adding them in separately, sometimes you can end up with lumps of dry ingredients left in the bottom. So I like to give this one final mix around with my spatula just to make sure that there are no stuck bits of dry ingredients and that everything has mixed together really, really well. Just like that. So this is going to get one final mix, and I'm going to turn the speed up actually and get a little bit of air in, and that's going to help this cake turn out really beautiful and fluffy when it bakes. So that took me about 20 seconds or so. That's all we want. And you can see it's actually gone a little bit paler still. So the last ingredient to go into our cake mix, if I show you the cake mixture there, you can see how lovely and silky and light it is. That is perfect. That's exactly what we want. So I'm just going to scrape this down, get all this lovely mixture in there. And then the last ingredient that we are going to add in to our cake mixture is, of course, our walnuts. So all I'm going to do now is grab my walnuts. Now I've actually broken these very roughly into chunks, you can see, and that is exactly what you want. That's going to spread really nicely through the whole cake. So all these walnuts are going to go in, and I'm just going to fold them in to my cake mixture before we get baking. All that's left now is to bake our cake. Now I have my tray bake tin ready here. I have lined it with some parchment paper, as you can see, and I've buttered it as well just to help the parchment stick to the tin. So this tin is an 8 by 12 inch tin, or a 20 centimeters by 30 centimeters tin. So that is ready for my cake mixture to go in. So once you've got all your cake mixture in your tin, you just want to spread it out into the corners into a nice even layer before we put it in the oven. So for the icing, we are going to make a coffee buttercream today. I love this. It is so delicious. It's really simple to make. To start with, I'm going to beat the butter until it's really light and fluffy. Now this is a really important step in making a really good buttercream icing, because when you have lots of air in your butter, it's going to make it really smooth, it's going to make it really silky, it's going to make it absolutely heavenly. So make sure you take the time at this stage to beat your butter. I would say a good 3 to 5 minutes until it's really pale, really soft, really light and airy. Once you have done that, we're going to add half the icing sugar in and mix that through. Now at this stage, this isn't a buttercream quite yet, but we are getting there. Once your sugar has completely mixed in, we're going to add in the coffee and the vanilla and mix those through so they are completely combined with the butter and sugar. And finally, we're going to add in the last bit of icing sugar and mix it slowly so you don't get icing sugar all over your kitchen. So to decorate, I'm keeping it really simple today. We are simply going to spread the coffee buttercream over the cooled cake before we decorate it with a final flourish of walnuts and some coffee beans. And there we have it, coffee and walnut tray bake. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe, and do let us know in the comments below if you make this too. Thanks for joining us today, friends. Happy baking.